Well, welcome to our orientation video. So my name is Dr. Laura Gravel, and you're watching this because either you're interested in care in our office or you've been to your new patient assessment and I directed you to watch this video, and it really just showcases, and I say some people watch this video, some people don't watch this video. The people who watch this video really know a little bit more about chiropractic. Not that I'm going to make you a chiropractor, but the more you know, the better you get, the faster you get in our office. So some people watch it, some people don't, but really our goals in the office are to understand what has brought you in, share our message of chiropractic with you, and really help you achieve your goals. So I'm very clear that I'm in this with you, and we are a team together, understanding really how to communicate chiropractic to you in the language that resonates with you, understanding really what's important and getting you to that goal. And we go incremental in our office as well. So goals of the office is to explain our paradigm of health and healing, which may be very different than you have ever experienced before. I don't expect you to jump into my paradigm or the paradigm of healing that we ascribe to in this office, but I do want to showcase it to you and maybe just open your eyes. You never thought that you heard chiropractic or health rather explained like that before. So overall, okay, let's take a look at overall understanding of the nervous system, how it works. So your brain sits up top here, the power, the life, and life heals. So life flows down the spinal cord and out at every level, comes out like a Christmas tree, if you will, and goes to every organ, every system, every tissue, every gland. So if I say it once, I say it 10 times. Life heals. That power that creates human beings, that recreates cells moment by moment. I want you to think that we are trillions and trillions of tissue cells. Last minute, 3 to 5 million died. This minute, 3 to 5 million are reborn. So it is always that rebirth, that regrowth, that redistribution, that recreation and restoration in the body. So that's how the nervous system works, really from brain to body. We have 24 hard bones, and we look at in the office hardware and software. We do different tests, which I'm going to go into in this video, to understand the strength of the nervous system and the state of the nervous system. So how strong the nervous system is how vital it is. So we look at balance, we look at coordination, we look at all those things, which I'm going to go into in a moment. But look at the job of the nervous system is very simple. It is to orient and adapt yourself to space. We have 2,000 bytes of information come at us in a second, and our body has to navigate the path of life. But I say the nervous system is the middleman of the Oreo. Top is all the stuff that happens to us. The middle of the Oreo is the nervous system, where the master processor is. So it has to take all of that, funnel all that information, process it, navigate through it, and bring the body to ease. And that's the second thing, the nervous system, the job of the nervous system, well, the state that the nervous system is in. Is it in that healing, growth, repair, or is it in fight or flight? So if it's in fight and flight, it is looking for the next bear that is coming, the lion, the tiger, and the bear. Most likely our posture represents, it signifies if we're in that healing, that rest and digest, or if we're in fight or flight. Usually fight and flight is a reflective in a lot of inflammation as well. We're going to touch on that a little bit more. So everybody has a nervous system, whether you're 1 day old, whether you're 91 days old. I have 4 young children. They all have a nervous system. They all get checked and adjusted weekly. I'm going to go into what an adjustment is because that may be foreign to you, just to know I do have 4 small children. The nervous system, as we are developing, is the first system to develop. That's how important that nervous system is. Just think this is your lifeline runs down your back. If I'm out and I meet people who are interested in chiropractic or at a social setting, ask them who their chiropractor is, and did they know that their lifeline goes down the center of your back. Your brain literally goes down the center of your back. And that's what chiropractic is all about. Reinstating the brain-body connection. We're nervous system specialists, not back specialists. So innate intelligence is a concept that I want you to become aware of. Innate intelligence means that inborn wisdom in the body. most people would agree that the body is pretty darn smart, and it absolutely is. So it has the ability to be self-running, self-regulating, and self-healing. So self-running means it runs automatically. You do not have to plug your body or go home and plug yourself. Self-running, automatically. Your heart beats 100,800 times a day. It will continue to do that. Your hair grows, your nail grows. It's self-running. Self-regulating. Have something called homeostasis. When things get out of balance, the body rebalances. So things are too high or things are too low. Self-regulating. Self-running, self-regulating, and self-healing. If you cut yourself, you will begin immediately that healing process. So clean out the debris, white blood cells go to begin that inflammatory, and depending on the size of the cut, in about 2 weeks you have no idea that there's even been a cut there. That's self-healing. That goes on the inside as well. Again, 3 to 5 million cells die in a minute, replace, this constant regeneration. Here's what we want. We want the power source to get to those parts to be able to restore the body to health. Doesn't matter where you are, we always want greater. So when our cells replicate, we do not want cells to replicate at a poor quality. Right? The bare minimum we want is those cells replicate at the same quality. Ideally, we'd want those cells replicate at a higher quality, not quantity, but higher quality of evolution. It's really self-running, self-regulating, self-healing. That's what innate intelligence is all about. All right, and we focus on health in this office. If you ask different questions, you get different answers. So how we are focused on what brings about health, brings about disease, brings about healing. We're not in the business of naming, of blaming, of giving drugs. That's outside in thinking. Chiropractic is above, down, inside out. Above, down, let's go back. Brain sends the life-giving, life heals down the spinal cord, your lifeline, to all the parts of the body. The clearer that connection will be, the better chance you have at adapting to life and expressing life. And I say in our office, our goal is to help you express and experience life at a higher level. But if you begin to ask questions, what makes the body healthy? What makes the body healing? What makes the body whole? You will get different answers versus if you come to asking the question, what causes disease? Let's name it and let's blame it. Let's create drugs for it. That is really not what our office is about. Time and a place, absolutely, but that is outside in thinking. We completely understand that the body is designed to be healthy, designed to be well, given the right conditions. And in our understanding, it is that flow of power from brain to body. We look at vitality testing. I touched on these a moment ago. We're going to look at how strong the nervous system is to adapt to life. We look at balance. We look at coordination. We look with and without vision. Because when we can tap into and really access the strength of the nervous system, vision is your cheaters. So if you did that heel-toe walking or the standing on one leg, which if you're watching this video, you've already been to the office and you've done those, you're wondering how do those tell the doctor how my back is doing? They tell me the strength of the nervous system. If we do very poor and we turn to the side on that the turn test and you walk forward, that tells me is the nervous system in that fight or flight stage, and we're just trying to get the body says I'm in trouble and I need to get that bad out if I need to move forward. Or can I navigate my position in space? Does my body know and can accommodate to where I am with my eyes open or closed? We look at the strength. We look at the state. So again, is the state of the nervous system in that in rest and digest or fight or flight? Fight or flight, we capture that from our posture, that head forward, that shoulders rolled in. Our balance most likely will be off. We'll have a lot of tension in our body. We do very poor on all of the tests. Posture is interesting in that it tells us if we are an efficient being. If we are in rest and digest, the body is in a state of efficiency. We're not bleeding out extra energy, literally just to hold our head up, which is when we are a well-oiled machine, we have extra energy to spare. So we look at the vitality testing, which is captures how our software, how our nervous system is functioning and the strength of that, and how we get that from wherever you are to good, great, and stay there. And also hardware. So we do look at x-ray. We've sent you for x-ray. You brought those back or we'll bring those back. Hardware we also capture with posture. Though I cannot see through the skin, I do not know the exact orientation of those bones, which is why to be very specific, we do send you for x-ray. Also, x-ray helps us understand, has there been stress on those bones over years of time? That we look at this, the arc of life, absolutely. That curve, we say we need to see a banana in the neck, like a banana in the neck. That nice to see curve. Again, is there stress and tension altering that? Has the disc space narrowed? Is there a change in shape of the bones? That is stress over years of time. We don't just get degeneration yesterday, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. So we look at all the vitality testing software. Hardware is the posture and x-ray. All right. If we have a strong nervous system, we can deal with a lot in our life. We have a high threshold. We have ease. We have resiliency, and that's what the nervous system, we want to be good to great in all of our vitality testing, that word resiliency. If I had an apple here that was all mushy and inside very weak and I dropped it, it's going to go everywhere. We have no bounce back ability, no resiliency. If on the other hand I have an apple that has a strong outside, so strong hardware, the bones have the nice C curve, and we have very strong on the inside, then you know what, if I drop that apple, i.e. if something happens to me in life, if I get affected by stress, which is a key word in our office, I can bounce back. I have that threshold, and that's what we want with every adjustment in our office. We are really retooling and refiring that brain, bringing it out of the black box to more navigating life on purpose. All right, so let's talk about stress. We got 3 kinds of stress. People think, I don't have any stress in my life. Well, let's dig a little deeper. I have a big beaker here, and I have low, medium, high level, and I will ask you to put all your stresses in a vat over here. Look at physical stress. Okay, being born is the largest stress that we will suffer in our life, and everybody's been born. Falls, jars, bumps, car accidents, broken bone, twisted ankles, head down. We look at our phone about, and this is a major one these days, we look at our phones about 150 times a day. That is about every 6 minutes, and that is absurd. You try to take you walk down Oxford Street, you'll get hit by a teenager with their head down. In our house, we have a specific rule for head down with my 4 small children. So our head goes down, our shoulders roll in, your head then becomes weighted on your neck. The way the spine sits and moves directly feeds the brain. Let me repeat that again. The way the spine sits and moves directly feeds the brain. If our head is out of alignment and not moving properly, that is not stimulating the brain. The brain needs 2 kinds of motion every day, from the legs and from the back. And if it doesn't get it, we're a euchre. That brain begins to go into that black box, as I said. So think about your physical traumas. Now, I'm not saying you fell down a gazillion stairs and whacked up both knees. Do you sit all day at your desk? Is your head forward? Think falls, jars, bumps, and the little ones as well. Emotional stress are my F's: finances, fears, family, frustration, failures, and chemical stress. And that is things in the food, in the air, the water, or that come at us. What that does is disconnect. If you're on medication that changes our physiology, we're usually on another medication to bring that back up. So all of that stress on the nervous system, the question really becomes, is the stress that we've been under greater than our body's ability to adapt? If it is, the brain and the neurology change. In our office and in chiropractors' offices, this is the term subluxation. It has different meanings, but in our office, it's really that inability of the brain to communicate with the body properly. We can think of it coming at a few different angles. The vertebrae in your back have to be sitting and moving in the proper direction. If they're not sitting and moving in the proper direction, that is subluxation. Subluxation is stress on the nervous system. Disconnection between brain and body. How do we see that? We see that in these vitality testing that we do. Are we strong? Are we adaptable? Or do we score poor? We also look at the state of that nervous system. Is it in the fight or flight? Is the brain always on high alert? That is subluxation. So that disconnection between brain and body. When we're in that stress overload pattern for so long, the physiology begins to break down. This is when we see people say, but I wasn't doing anything, and oh my gosh, my back is just, I've thrown out my back. Usually, it's not the back that's the issue. It's the stress that led up to that incident. So that's why we have to go back before we go forward. I want to just touch on pain for just a moment, because I did say my back soreness. It's interesting that I say to patients that I can't fix the pain. There's not one nerve in the body that I can say, oh, that's the one. What we have to do is we have to go in the back door and regulate and modulate nervous function through a pattern of adjustments, which I'm going to go into in a moment, to really dial down that stress response. So subluxation is overload of stress in the body. All right, we've got toxins, things in the food, in the air, in the water, physical, emotional, and chemical. Just think the load of life. How in the last 10, 24, however old you are, that load of life has been, and I usually ask you that in the office. Just think, has the load of life that I've been under, grouping all my stresses, been low, been medium, been high, and how did my body react? So load of life is really a key question and metric that I ask and I look at. All right, I want to focus on this poster here. When we talk about subluxation, just think all of the things that our body has to deal with. So that's 2,000 bytes of information in a second. But look, there's posture, poor diet, stress, injuries, sugar, anxiety, schedule, finances, chemicals, toxins. This is just a few. Just think if you have so many apps open on your phone, and I know we just talked about that head being forward, but I thought this was relevant, and I do love this poster. It drains your battery. There is only so much that the nervous system can go through before it says enough is enough and I can't adapt anymore. And thus, many times the body fights back, right? Whether it's anxiety, depression, autoimmune, changes in physiology, pain, the body is fighting back when it says, I have had enough. So I love this poster. So just think, how many apps do you have open? Sometimes you have to swipe them up and close them, right? All right. Let me put that here, and I want to go on to what an adjustment is. All right, so an adjustment really brings that brain back into balance. Takes the heart bone, puts it in motion, firing back to the brain. Think about state of the nervous system, fight or flight. This is your gas is on so much. The rest and digest is break. So when we make an adjustment, there is scientific evidence that we put that brake on. We really dial down that stress response. We allow the body a chance to go from hero, we apply the brake on. That's really what an adjustment is waking up the brain so we can what? Increase our reserve to deal with stress, increase our threshold. The body becomes more efficient and it doesn't have to really waste energy. We bring it into that restorative state, and that's where the body does all of its healing. Like 80% of your day needs to be in the fight or flight, get into and out of stress and adapt. 20% in your fight or flight, 80% in your restorative, your rest, your digest. That's really important. So another way of explaining an adjustment is my brain lamp. If we are subluxated, if that brain is dull, the light, the life is not as bright as it is. This is full power. This is minimal power, somewhere along that gradient. Most likely we're tired, we're inefficient, we're groggy. We may have multiple symptoms. Just our light we're not as vital as we would love to be. Our bulb is not burning bright. An adjustment literally turns that bulb on and really sends power to the brain to say, hey, this is how I should be, how I should achieve, how I should function into the world. Really raises up our reserves. One thing that we're big on focusing in the office is heart rate variability, HRV. Heart rate variability is extremely important in our office. We measure, we track it. What heart rate variability is the time between the heartbeats. The more resilient you are, the better your heart rate variability, the more variable you are, the more adaptable you are to life, to stress. That's the standalone reason why children should be checked and adjusted when necessary to increase their reserve, their resiliency. Children should be that apple number one, good on the outside and real strong on the inside, and keep them at that level. So when you come into the office, I will be sharing with you your care plan. And a care plan is really that. We work with you to care for you, to help you get that nervous system strong, resilient, and adaptable to life. You will see this triangle in the office. Different things affect our ability to reach a state of vitality, or the hierarchy of vitality. That is stress. Stress pushes us down. If I have two patients, one is a very stressful life, one of those not a stressful life, I can almost assure you the patient with a stressful life, outside, inside, physiology changes, we're going to move up slower. Time, repetition, and frequency, and sticking with that care plan, it's really important. Moves us up the hierarchy. The type of healing we are, if we have a nervous system that's strong and adaptable, we'll move up faster, versus squishy and not adaptable, we're going to stay low longer. Goal, 7 levels of healing. We start with mobilization, moving things. The better the spine sits and moves, better the brain works. Interruption, old pattern, new pattern. We time and repetition to change what's not working, become more efficient. Restoration is dialing down the stress response, which we've talked about in this video. People say they sleep better in this area at this level. Integration is bringing all of that information, the body's able to use it and move in unison. So that my rowboat analogy, if the right side of your boat has been rowing for 8 years, the left side has become quiet. We have to actually turn it back on and bring it back to life. Reorganization is a new normal. So we work at interrupting old patterns, become more efficient. 20% of our patients are in this spectrum up until the yellow. That is, they're in the office, they're moving up. 80% of our patients actually come at a frequency that works for them. Their goal is helping be more efficient, more adaptable, getting that nervous system strong and stable, and actually keeping it there, not becoming stable but moving higher. Better connection with others because we're more in the parasympathetic, people, place, people, loved ones, social, people out in the community get just our interaction with others get better, and our creation, we're able to reach our goals. That full potential is inside. So I will share with you when you come in your individualized care plan based on your hardware, your software, your type of healer, and we do progress assessments very frequently. We do all the testing in to look at where were we, where are we, and how are we moving forward, and is the frequency of care working for you to elevate your level of nerve system strength and ability. So we welcome you in the office. I say my four things that I expect will happen in the office, and it's everything's different for everybody. Remember our goal: remove the interference, let the body give the body the best chance it has to healing. But let's backtrack. Positive. I expect, don't promise, but I expect handle stress better. One of the things that will happen. Number 2, immune system changes. Absolutely, research shows us we're more parasympathetic. Our state, that rest and digest, our immune system gets better, stronger. We don't need as much medication, less time off, and that means less time off means less time missed in your business. I have been personally under chiropractic care since I've been 18, and I've missed in my professional career of the last 14 years, 5 days of work. So pretty good odds. Digestive system, things move better. We're able to handle things better in our digestive system. And positive mental attitude. Our brain actually gets stimulated with positive chemicals, positive happy chemicals. So your brain changes under chiropractic care. And that's really the takeaway message from this orientation is chiropractic is about your brain, not your back. So I welcome you into the office, and let's see what we can do together to elevate your health.